Hi, and welcome to Rise, Heal, and Grow. I'm Leah M. Hill. This show is a podcast production of Apollo Sunrise Center, which is a holistic wellness retreat center in Newburyport, Massachusetts, offering interactive experiences for learning, transformation, and growth. On this show, we shine the light on those who nurture wellness and inspire positive change. My guest today is April Adams. She is an emotional health consultant. Hi, April.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah.
I'm really interested in your work, just from what little I've met you and talked to you, a few times before, and just from what little I've heard about, I'm really interested in what you do. But take us back to the beginning of how you came up with this unique approach that you have, that you do.
Yeah. So, of course, it all starts with our own issues and everything, and we want to find our way out of our own problems. And so I started on this kind of self-improvement journey, and then I learned how to use energy healing, and then, that led into intuition. And so I started out doing healing on people and on myself.
Right.
And I found that whenever I was working with people that we would feel better for a few weeks, like they would go home feeling great, and then a few weeks later they'd come back with the same issue all over again.
Yeah.
And I was working on my own stuff and was finding that I would get small improvements or temporary relief from something, but not able to fully resolve anything.
Yeah.
And so it kind of became my mission to figure out, how do we get permanent relief on something? How do we
that's a
clear
big
it
question.
for good?
Right.
And just move on instead of having to peel back layer after layer after layer of the same issue. So fortunately, about 11 years ago, I found a tool that could do just that, and it changed everything.
Wow. So this is a tool that, can you describe it? Like, how does this work? It's something that you do.
Yeah. So the tool is an audio track.
Okay.
Or really a series of audio tracks that you can use. But basically, it's a track that includes several different healing methods into one track. So there's an element of hypnosis, an element of EMDR, of NLP, and a bunch of other things. And so it's like taking the most powerful and effective aspects of all of those things, layering them together, and it tends to get faster, more lasting results on things. And if you get things at the root, they tend to just be gone.
Really?
Yeah.
This is amazing, because I'm familiar with many of those modalities that you mentioned, and they all they all work on the subconscious level. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
Right. Exactly.
So this audio combines all of those things, still works with your subconscious level.
Right.
And it creates this permanent change that you're talking about. This is amazing.
Yeah.
I'm really intrigued by this.
Me too.
Yeah. So how is this different from like the traditional therapy or coaching? Coaching is very popular, I know, these days. A lot of people are coaches, but how is this different?
I find that most of the things that we have learned how to do and that you hear about on the mainstream are all about the conscious mind. So it's reframing your thoughts. It's trying to redirect your focus. It's trying to be present in the now. It's calming your nervous system. It's doing all of these things, but that's all conscious work.
Right.
So you're trying to use willpower when the triggers are coming from the subconscious. So it's great to have an understanding of why something is there. It's great to feel validated. It's good to be able to share your story and figure out where things originated. But you don't resolve it that way.
It's still like surface level is what you're saying.
So it's really, those things are important, but at some point when you want relief, you have to address it where the trigger is actually coming from.
Okay, so do you have to know what causes this trigger in order to have this work for you, this program? So, if I said, like I've often shared, that I'm an emotional eater, okay? So when I get anxious, when I get whatever, I'm eating anything that's nailed down, that's not nailed down, I'm eating constantly. So would I have to find out why I have this emotional eating issue, or would I have to, what would I have to do?
Well, I mean, really, this is geared toward a specific trigger or
Specific
issue
thing.
or pattern.
Okay.
You know, and so you don't just use the audio track and think about how you eat and have it just clear that up.
Oh, okay.
It's more about, like, if you've had a traumatic event and you keep having flashbacks about it, or you keep repeating it over and over again, or worrying it's going to happen again, then
Okay.
you would use the track and it resolves that reactivity. And so you can use it on things like that. My
Okay.
specialty, though, is helping women figure out, where did something originate? Because a lot of things are more complex than just an isolated event.
Sure.
Like if you
Right.
got in a
That makes
car
sense.
accident and then you were afraid to get back in a car, that's pretty simple.
Yeah.
You know, you do a round or two and you're
Right.
usually over that.
Right.
But when you've got an issue that's been going on for a long time, or, you know, you have something currently in the now
Mm-hmm.
that you don't know why you're so reactive about, then it's
okay.
my gift to help you figure out, where did that come from, so that you can think about that while you use the track in order to resolve it.
Got it.
And so,
Okay.
yes, in the case of emotional eating, this can help
Mm-hmm.
dramatically with it, but it is kind of important to do a little bit of root finding, figure out
Right.
what are the triggers, what are the emotions you're trying to avoid by eating,
Right.
what are the
Right.
emotions you have attached to certain foods,
Okay.
and being able to address those is where you tend to really get the results
Yeah.
with this.
So that's the part that's conscious, like you were talking about. So
Right.
you help the client through the conscious part of figuring it out, what the
Right.
trigger is. So the
Yes.
trigger would be like, you know, like you said, it could be a situation, anything, an
Yeah.
environment, a sound, anything like that,
Yeah.
that would trigger some behavior or reaction that the person wants to change.
Yeah.
And then they use the tool that you work with,
Right.
and that creates the change.
Yes.
Wow. And how
Exactly.
long does this take? How fast can
So
someone see
each
the results?
round of the track is
Yeah.
about 10 to 12 minutes long.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I find that most issues resolve in 1 to 2 rounds for most people with most things.
Wow. So that's like
Yeah.
30 minutes total, right?
Yeah.
to
Right.
really
Yeah.
resolve an issue like
Yes.
that?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
So to resolve one issue, you're doing it in a single sitting in most cases.
Mm-hmm.
And if you were to go to therapy for that issue, it might take a year to,
Yeah.
you know, come to some
Oh,
sense
yeah.
of peace around it. If you went for traditional hypnosis or, you know, did EMDR or EFT, it might take 6 or 7 rounds of that thing to
Okay.
resolve it. But now we're doing that in a sitting, which
That's
means you're
amazing.
not limited to only the big things now. You can resolve like little stupid tiny annoyances that pop up throughout your day, the sense of overwhelm you have in general,
Yeah.
and the big stuff.
Wow. All right, this is very cool. I'm very interested in this. So what happens when the person has, let's say, cleared it, like it's
Yeah.
it's worked, it's resolved.
Yeah.
What happens to the person, like in their body or in their behaviors?
Yeah. So the biggest thing is that you just feel neutral
Okay.
about the thing.
So the thing you might get triggered, you don't get
Yeah.
triggered, or when there's a
Right.
trigger, you
Right.
might just feel
Yes.
neutral about it. Okay.
Yes, exactly. So
right.
let's say you're angry at somebody and you clear the anger.
Okay.
Of course, that's one of the main things that people resist, is like they think that their anger is protecting them, or, you know, that
Right.
it's you know, helpful for them to hold on to the anger because it's helping them keep boundaries and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I find you clear the anger around something, and then you just have just calm disposition of like, that's not okay with me. And it's not from a triggered place.
Okay.
You're just going, you know what? No, I'm not willing to put up with that anymore. And there doesn't have to be this intensity behind it.
Right.
So you can then determine, okay, was that just me being triggered because of childhood wounds? Was that, you know, is that a boundary I need to set? Do I need to
I
remove this
see.
person from my life? But you know you're doing it from a place of calm clarity
Right.
instead of a place of emotional triggeredness.
Okay, I see this. So it kind of gives you some space,
Right.
like what it sounds like some space around your response to
Yes.
the trigger or to the situation.
Right.
Okay.
It just takes the kick out of it. And now that there's no sting, then you can decide how to move forward.
Wow. So how would someone know if this is temporary or if it's really, at the core level that you described?
Yeah, you see it in your day-to-day life. I mean,
Okay.
of course, there's a measurement. Like the tool has a way to measure at the beginning and end. You kind of sit with the feeling and you measure it on a scale of 0 to 10 at the beginning and
Okay.
end of the round. Most people do have a significant change from the beginning to end. So they might start with an 8 and get down to a 2
Okay.
or something like that and be able to measure that.
Right.
But what I find happens is that in day-to-day life, when somebody would have once set you off, you're just no longer set off by what that person does anymore. It's just kind of gone. And that's honestly the most frustrating part for me, because people are just moving on with their lives and the stuff that used to trigger them is happening, but now they're not noticing.
Oh, they're
that
not noticing
thing is
it.
happening.
Yes.
They're just moving on with their life because the thing isn't triggering anymore.
Right, I see.
Yeah. So we have to check in every once in a while and go, okay, hey, remember that thing you
Right.
worked on?
To make sure it has really worked and that it has
Yeah.
done it. That makes
Yes.
sense. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, because a lot of people wouldn't really have that response of like, oh, normally I'd get really upset if somebody cut me off on the highway and, and
Right.
I'd be, swearing or yelling or giving them the finger or something. And now I'm not even thinking about it.
Exactly.
Okay. Because it's not, the trigger is not with, the trigger's still happening, but the response trigger is not
Right.
happening within me anymore,
Yes.
is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Wow. So can you walk us through maybe an example of like one of your sessions of like, what is it like?
Yeah.
To work
so,
with you.
I kind of tend to work in a series with most people because, there's a lot of things. Like, people might come to me with one particular issue that they really want to overcome, but once we get talking, it's like there's so many things. There's stuff in your love life, there's stuff in your work life.
Sure,
There's,
right.
all kinds of different things. So being able to, work through and kind of get a total life overhaul is huge. So
Yeah,
I tend to start with like, okay, here's how you use the emotion tool, and let's work on, some of the main things that are really coming up for you. And then I would also give homework. Like, here's the list of things that I suggest that you work on day to day in order to overcome these things. And that's part of the beauty of this, too, is that they're not limited to only doing the work when they're in office with you. They
see.
take the tools home
Okay.
and are able to then do the work on their own at home.
Okay.
And we're getting ready to release a mental health app to
Yeah.
provide exactly that service to other practitioners and the general public too. So
That's
Yeah.
very interesting. So this app is going to be for people who work with you,
Yeah.
who need, like the reminders, let's say the homework reminders or the things to do. And
Yeah.
would it also have those tools on
Yes.
it that you mentioned too?
Yes.
So they can always go
Yeah.
back and use the tools when they need to.
yes,
Or when they want to.
and it's not just for people who are working with a practitioner. There will be a self-help version
For
of the whole
anybody.
thing. Yes.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
So the person on their own would just do a little like sort of digging, let's say, to figure out
Right. Yes.
at the conscious
Yeah.
level that we talked about, what that
Yeah,
surface
there's
issue
going to
is.
be different levels. So there's the
Yeah.
option to just have the tools if you know what your trauma is and you just want to overcome like that single trauma. Great,
Yeah.
or if you have a daily annoyance you want to work through or something like that, like you can just easily grab one of the tools and do that. But we'll also have these intricate trainings on like, okay, now implement a track on beliefs. So we have a tool to resolve beliefs and things like that.
Really?
And, and then specific trainings on specific issues. If you have a phobia, how to overcome that. And community too. So, monthly group meetings and
Oh,
things
that's
where
important.
we can do Q&A and all
Yeah.
of that. So, yeah.
That's
it's-
really fascinating
Yeah.
because having that app accessible, I mean, I'm thinking for most people when you're triggered or you don't know how to handle a response, it might not be at a time when they're currently with you, like in your
Right.
office, right?
Exactly.
It's probably
Right.
on the weekend, at night or something, and when they really need it, and they would have this app available to help them through it.
Yes.
That is very valuable. Thank you for creating that. So it's coming soon.
Yes,
It's coming soon. Okay.
Yeah.
The beta version.
Yes.
The
Yeah.
beta version is
And
coming
there
soon.
is a little free sample version that we'll talk about later
Okay.
on, I think. But
Okay, sounds
Yes,
good. All
yeah.
right. So, and you mentioned phobias. I mean, those are what I would consider like lifelong phobias.
Yes,
But you
right.
have an example of, I think, a storm phobia clearing.
yeah.
What is
And-
that story?
And phobias are really one of the easiest things to measure because it's so life altering.
Yeah,
Really,
right.
you live
It's-
your life around that phobia a lot of the
Okay,
time. And
so-
so if you can overcome that, it's so obvious and so
Yeah.
clear that you've moved past something really big. So I had a client who had a severe phobia of storms to the point where she would hide under the furniture when a storm was
Oh.
coming.
Oh
Like
my
it was
gosh.
intense. And she came in and we did, I think we did one round on the fear of storms, but we also included some of the roots, you know, because she had some times where a tree fell on her family car. Her father, when she was 5 years old, was running around battening down the hatches, preparing for a storm. So,
Oh,
you know,
right.
there's all of these like pivotal moments that kind of program in that phobia.
Yeah.
And so she thought about some of those, as well as the fear of like any storms happening and how she feels when a storm happens. And so that's kind of what she's thinking about and feeling while she's doing the track.
Right.
So she did this round and came out and was at like a 1 rating wise, intensity wise. And so everybody, when they have a phobia, and they hit that moment of going, I don't feel any fear about that at all right now. That's kind of weird, but you know, I'm safe in your office or I'm safe in my living room. Of course I'm okay with it. Even
Right.
though they would have freaked out just thinking about it before this
Yeah.
point.
So
you
that's
know.
a big
Yeah.
improvement right there.
Yes.
Is what you're saying.
So that's
right.
a huge
So-
improvement. However, almost every single person with a phobia then needs to follow up with another round of the fear that the phobia is going to sneak back up on them in
Yeah.
the situation.
Well, I'm thinking that's exactly
Yeah.
what people would think. Like, okay, it's great now, but what
Yes.
happens when I go home?
Right.
Okay.
So that's immediately what we did, was another round on that.
All right.
A week later, a big storm happened, and she messaged me saying, I'm out running errands right now, and I don't
Oh.
care that a storm is happening.
1 week later.
1 week later.
I cannot believe it.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. That is huge.
Yeah.
I mean, phobias, like you said, I always think of them as lifelong, huge issues.
Right.
And especially in the situation with that client that you had, they compound, you know,
Right.
with every incident makes it worse and worse and worse.
Yes.
But to bring that down to a 0 where she can go about her daily
Yeah.
life,
Yeah.
that's incredible.
Not hiding under furniture. But
Yeah,
out
no.
running around to the grocery store and
Big
stuff.
difference,
Yeah.
right? So that's an example, but this sounds like it can also help with sort of the more everyday issues that we have,
Right.
relationship issues,
Yes.
issues with our parents or our children or, you know, family,
Yeah.
things like that, where normally if someone was, let's say, critical of you and your family, and you normally respond a certain way, this can not just give you the tools to deal with it, but also just taking that response trigger right
Yes.
out.
Right. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, my
I'm
main
really
issue
intrigued
that
by
got me
this.
into this was relationship stuff. And once I healed that at the root of feeling unwanted, all my relationships changed, my career path changed, like everything. It
Really? For you
shifted
personally?
So much. Yeah.
This helped you personally with all your
Yes.
relationships.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that is
Yeah.
great. Because people have done, you know, years of therapy. Like you said, years of
Right.
therapy, years of
Yeah.
personal development, reading all the books, the
Yes.
self-help books, going to all the seminars and the weekend
Yeah.
retreats and things. And this is fast and it's permanent.
Yes. Yeah. And I mean, not to say that any of that is wasted.
Right.
It's all valuable. Like it's all part of the growing process. But it's like people reach this plateau state and they're like, I know why I have this. I know how I should be thinking, feeling, and reacting.
Yeah.
But I can't seem to make it happen.
Yeah.
And this
yeah.
is like that final puzzle piece that's been missing
Okay.
to actually make the work work.
Right. Yeah, because I can think of that even from my own, like the example I use in my emotional eating. It's like, okay, I might be thinking I don't need to eat all these cookies right now,
Yes.
but I'm still doing it.
Yes.
And so what you're saying is having that's the plateau
Right.
stage is like having the awareness of it. Okay, I know I'm doing this reaction. I have the awareness of it,
Right.
but I just don't have the skills yet to control it or manage
Yeah.
it.
And then you're
Okay.
beating yourself up because your willpower
Exactly.
isn't keeping you from eating the cookies. But
Exactly.
it's that's not where the drive to eat the cookie is coming from.
Yeah. So is that the why? Like, why do we do that? Even though let's say we know better, like I know better than to eat all the cookies, but
Right.
why do I still, what's the why?
Yeah. And typically it's the subconscious trying to protect us.
Okay. All right.
That lizard brain, that protective survival level of the brain is always scanning for threats, what's missing, what's lacking, what could harm me, what
Right.
could go wrong, what now is reminding me of bad things from the past. And also, how can I get out of this severe discomfort I'm in? So, if we're avoiding stress or we're avoiding boredom or any of those kinds of things, our subconscious is going, what did I do in the past that got me out of this feeling?
Oh, okay.
And then you're running for the Oreos.
Yep. Yep, exactly.
Yeah. And
So-
it's all subconscious. And you can consciously talk yourself down and do all kinds of things, but it takes Herculean effort, where if you can resolve that on the subconscious level, then it's more effortless.
So is your subconscious really being like overprotective? I guess,
Yeah, in a
saying
big
that there's
way.
not really a
Yes.
real threat here,
Right.
but
Yes. Yeah.
it's perceiving this situation as a
Right.
threat.
Well,
Okay.
I mean, our ancestors survived for millennia by being hypervigilant.
Yeah.
And they had survival level threats all the time.
Sure, right.
So they needed that. And then, of course, the ones that survived and evolved were the most hypervigilant. And so now we
I got it. Yeah.
have first world problems that we're reacting to like they're survival level threats.
Right.
And that's what the subconscious does all the time. It's just like reacting in this huge way to these really, in the end, insignificant things like an email arriving or an offhand remark that somebody makes.
Yeah. And we take it really hard. We
Yeah.
take it personally.
Right.
Okay. So what is like maybe a misunderstanding or about this emotional healing? What do people that you find that, or a misconception that people have about this?
Yeah. Of course, there's a lot of, well, aren't my feelings valid? Aren't they helpful? Aren't they protecting me from something? Aren't they motivating me from something?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I have a little bit of a different take on that a lot of people might not like. But to me, the majority of our negative emotional reactions are just an overprotective subconscious mind reacting to something. So it's telling
Okay.
us I'm under threat, when really, are you under threat? Or
Right.
are you just freaking out and bracing for something because it reminds you of a childhood wound or because
Right.
it feels uncomfortable? And so if you can heal that on the subconscious level, you don't need that emotion, and then you can just calmly, logically deal with the situation
Yeah.
without the emotional roller coaster behind it all the time.
Yeah, and that to me is what I would think is like the misperception that you might get. The misunderstanding that it really can be that easy and
Right.
it can be that effective and that it
Yeah.
can be permanent. Because I think the element of doubt plays a lot
Right.
here. That the
Yeah.
doubt that it's really working or that it's really happening.
Yeah, yeah.
But until they experience it, like you
Right,
said, they can go
exactly.
shopping or run errands Sunday
Yes.
when normally they'd
Yeah,
be hiding
until
under the
you
furniture.
yeah.
That's a big difference.
Until you see the thing that's been bothering you for so long no longer bother you, it is kind of hard to believe. And I know when I first started doing this, I went into it going, yeah, we'll see. I've tried a million things.
So you had to-
and they
yeah.
all got that temporary relief,
Yeah.
And so to have my biggest issue clear in about 20 minutes,
Wow.
that's what sold me. And so from then on, I've just wanted to go around going, it doesn't have to be so hard.
Well, I'm sure a lot of people want to hear that and need to hear that. It's
Yeah.
just that we don't normally hear that. You know,
Right.
what we hear is it's going to take years, and you
Yeah.
have to dig up your trauma, and you have to talk about it, and you have to release it, and
Yeah.
all of that.
Yeah.
And it can't happen that fast. Is what we hear a lot.
Right.
I'm sure what you hear
Yeah,
a lot too.
yeah, and it can.
So for someone who might be watching or listening now that might feel like they're stuck, okay? So maybe they've done the therapy, they've done the personal development and the growth and all of that, and they don't know where to start. They don't know what to do. Do you have any advice for someone like that might just need to start by a shift in their perspective?
Yeah. And I think a big part of it is just recognizing that it's not your fault that you're where you are. It's not, a lack of work.
Well, that's a big one.
You're not broken,
Right.
so it's just important to know that it's not you. This is a super common thing. This happens to the majority of us, and that you're not stuck there. You don't have to stay in that place, that there is a way to move past nearly any emotional baggage whatsoever,
That's important. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that too, because I think people also realize that even though this, like you said, might be a fast change in their life, it's going to change their life.
Yes.
Like even for your personal example, it changed your relationships, like you said,
Right.
and the relationships that you have. I think that there are a lot of ways that people can just show up differently in their life once
Right.
they've cleared these trigger responses.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are there any ways that, that you think in terms of relationship or even work, at the office or something that people have, that you've worked with have showed up differently after that?
Yeah. And I had a client who couldn't stand her boss, for instance.
Okay.
And she
That's a
just
problem.
was really triggered by him.
Yeah.
And, so we kind of worked together and figured out why she was so triggered by him. And of course it was daddy stuff. And so she was able to kind of work through that. And then she went to work and wasn't triggered by her boss anymore. I mean, she didn't like him, but she wasn't triggered by him anymore.
Yeah.
And oddly enough, a couple of weeks later, she got a promotion and didn't have to deal with him anymore.
Oh,
and it's so
there you
strange.
go.
I see those kinds of weird, miraculous things happen too. It's almost like these people or situations get put in our path.
Yeah.
So that we have to work through them. And then once that test doesn't need to be there anymore, or that catalyst to healing something, it just kind of
it goes away.
moves on or changes.
I do believe
it's
that.
So strange.
Yes, and I've experienced that in my lifetime too, changing relationships just by a way that I've changed, and then something like that happens. It's like, oh, okay, I don't have to even deal with that anymore.
Yeah.
Because I've dealt with it, or it's done. It's complete in my system.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow,
and an example in my own life was, healing my unwanted issues in my relationships, which went all the way back to being an unplanned pregnancy.
Wow.
So it was like a deep root.
Yeah, it's very deep. Yeah.
I had spent my whole life trying to get everyone to prove they wanted me, especially in romantic relationships. And so that's what my main wound was. But then I did this work on that, and about a month later realized I didn't care about being famous anymore. And I had wanted to be famous my whole life, and recognized that's about wanting everyone to want me.
To want you, yeah.
And so I cleared that, and then it just was like, oh, being famous sounds kind of like a pain. I'm not sure I want that, And so it changed really my focus on what I wanted for career and on all of it.
Absolutely. That's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's huge. So it changed not just your personal relationships,
Right.
but your whole trajectory.
Yeah. I mean, it fixed my marriage too, but
Yeah.
just that.
I'm sure. I mean, that's a big change. Yeah. Wow. Right. So tell us about this free training that you offer for people that might want to experience this work or give it a try.
Yeah. So I have a free week with one of the tools, the emotion clearing tool, as well as a free mini training on how to use it, how get the best results, and kind of how and why the tools work and all of that. And the ability to dig deeper, but also to stay tuned for when the real app gets released too. So, just if you go to refineyourmind.life, you'll see the free course there and get access to the tools. And there's no strings attached. You're not hooked up to a subscription or anything right off the bat. It's just the free week. And then if you want to sign up for more, you can.
So what are some things that, again, someone might be watching or listening today that might say, oh, I'm going to try that. I'm going to try that free week. Is there any particular issues that you think people might?
I would say 90% of women are feeling incredibly overwhelmed right now. And so to just work daily for like a week or two on overwhelm.
Okay.
So just like every morning, if you're waking up feeling overwhelmed or whatever, you just freak out and feel overwhelmed and list all the stuff overwhelming you. And typically by doing that daily for a period of time, it's going to just eliminate that tendency for your nervous system to go into overwhelm and just, you know, kind of prevent it. So that's kind of one of the top things. But otherwise, you would just replay the negative thing that happened to you while you do the track, and it takes care of the emotions attached to it.
Anyway, so is this maybe a replacement for therapy? Would you call it that?
No, I feel like it works really well in partnership with therapy, or as kind of that tool to finally make everything you learned in therapy fall into place and actually work. Yeah. So, I mean, some people do self-help and listen to podcasts and read a lot of self-help books instead of going to therapy, and that tends to be okay too with this. It's just that most people aren't able to just go directly to this because most people still feel like their feelings are serving them in some way, or are still in a state of victimhood and going like, this is hurting me and that's hurting me and you're hurting me, instead of like, oh, I'm hurting myself by fixating on this and staying in these patterns.
So there's still steps.
There's some of those things that need to happen for most people to heal most things.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So great. Well, tell everybody again how to find you, how to connect with you.
Yeah. So you can go to refineyourmind.life, and my free course is up there, as well as like how you can work with me directly if you're interested in that too. But I just want everyone to have access to these game-changing tools, and so getting a free week with that to try it out even before you decide anything else is hugely valuable and kind of fun.
It really is, yeah. I'm going to check that out myself too.
Awesome.
And are you on social media too?
Yes. So on Instagram, I am april.adams.emotion.coach.
Okay.
And on TikTok, April Adams Emotion Coach. Yeah.
All right, great. Well, thank you for being here today.
Thank you.
Was so informative, and I love that it's like new and different. It's so innovative what you're talking about, of ways of dealing with issues, emotional issues, triggers, traumas that we've all dealt with for years and years and years. And by offering a quick and easy and permanent way to really change your life is so important and valuable. Thank you.
And it just fits in with so many other things, like regardless of how you work on yourself.
Yeah.
This is just like that last little bit to make it like really work the way that you hoped it would.
To make it stick.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, that's terrific.
Yeah. I love it.
All right. I do too. Thank you. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
All right. And thank you, all of you, for watching or listening here today on Rise, Heal, and Grow with Leah M. Hill. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe on whatever platform you're joining us on today. And please join us again soon. We have lots more episodes coming up.